I've put the testimonial off for months because I've just been so busy actually enjoying my life and being able to live it that I've just kind of forgot that I even had colitis once. And then it reminds me, it's like, when I completely finished with you guys, I was like, I was so grateful, and I still am. Even my parents, they always say thanks to you guys. Obviously wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys, and it's impacted them. I was that guy who wouldn't care. I could grab an animal and just kill it in front of me. I used to go fishing a lot, and now it's hard to go fishing because I just, you see the fish suffer, or whatever animal it is, you see him suffer, and I used to just slit the throat and bleed him or throw him there to suffocate. I didn't care. So I was that type of guy. Getting deeper into it, part of me is because I don't want to hurt the animals, I don't want to harm them or be responsible indirectly for the needs of 10 chicken, 10 eggs a day. It's not just my health anymore. That's how it started, but it becomes a lot more than just that. There was times where I wanted to quit, but it's just, just knowing why you're doing it. Just keeping, I guess, the goal in mind of what you're trying to achieve, and that you need to do this. Like, if you have any sort of issues, whether it's colitis or anything, you need to do this. You need to cleanse your body. My friend doesn't even have colitis, and he did it, and he wouldn't go back either. I've been through it, my brother's been through it, and you guys have a lot of people that you've helped. If you're just thinking about it, just get started, give it a crack, give it 100% though. You can't expect this to work and be half into it where you're not really listening to what you guys are saying and things like that, because there is a lot of components to it. It's not just your diet. You need to sleep, you need to rest. You know why you're doing it, and obviously it's long term, because this, like the situation you've got is, and the medicine, you may feel okay now, some days you feel okay, but it's not sustainable long term. And I probably wouldn't have been able to do it with you guys and the support you guys gave. So honestly, thanks to you and your brother to getting me through that and just putting up with it.
Hey guys, welcome to a new video. We've got testimonial time again, and we've got Vatche here from Australia who's going to share with us his journey. His story has been absolutely amazing. He started with us in September of last year, so 2018, and he worked with us for about 6 months. And he finished with us in March, and obviously he didn't want to do a testimonial in March because he was so busy having his life back that this was the right time to do it. And so I just want to talk to you guys and talk to you, Vatche, about how it's been in the 7 months since you finished with us, and what sort of challenges have you faced, if any. And I think you did go on holiday as well, you traveled as well, so let's talk about that. But let's talk about it now. How is your life now? And then we'll get into the details of how your journey went later. But how is your life now, man?
Honestly, the best thing I've done is there's a big change of what happened, what I was going through before the last few years and what it is now. I can actually enjoy myself, go out without having to worry, is there a bathroom nearby, or I'm getting this pain, or always just, having the bloody stools or whatever it is, or the frequency. I can actually enjoy my life and focus on actually just trying to live and set my goals and just get by, rather than, focusing on my stomach issues and always worrying about health. But I just feel a lot better as well with just having a lot more energy, never tired. We get more done in the day, more focused. Like it's obviously very different, but I still need to make sure that I stay on track with what I'm doing, because you can, obviously with life, you get busy and you kind of might head off to the little bit on the side track. But it's always about getting back on and, knowing what you're working towards. For
sure. And man, you've been doing so many things. Like just give us a rundown of your schedule. Like you're doing some Muay Thai fighting, or you're training a lot now as well, and that you couldn't do before. When you had colitis, before you got diagnosed, and all sorts of things. So tell us what you're doing now, and how your life's changed, and how much, I guess, better it is as well.
Yeah, for sure. So before, when I had colitis, I used to go gym. I used to love the fitness and things like that. But I used to take a lot of supplements to be able to get me through it, like a workout. Even if I got through it, I just would crash out after, and because I was just taking a lot of bad supplements to be able to give me some energy. But now, and I was always tired, lethargic, and just always want to rest and just couldn't focus. Work 8 hours and come home and I felt like I needed to sleep, or even on the weekend, just try to need to sleep. But now it's different. I get up at 5:30 a.m. every morning, go to the gym for about an hour and a half and head straight to work. And work for maybe 10 hours, 11 hours, and then come home and I still feel like I've got the energy and I can still go to train. And even at work, it's changed my performance as well there. I would always eat my lunch or eat breakfast and I just feel tired and, you feel heavy and you can't really, make the most out of the day. But now, or need coffee to get through the day and some sort of energy to get you to 5 o'clock. And by the time you get to 5 o'clock, it feels like you're going through so much stuff. But now I've just got 3 times more amount of energy, and on the weekends I get up and just always busy, Muay Thai training, like you're saying, go to the gym in the same day, so I could train over 3-4 hours a day on some days on the weekend. And my energy just seems like it's never running out, and I just feel good. So
that's so good to hear, because that's exactly what my life's like, man. It's day in, day out, man. You have endless amount of energy. Even if you have like a late night, for example, you just jump out out your bed the next day, and you'll still be all ready to go. So that's just what happens when you eat really clean as well. And I know that you're eating the specific way because you want to be able to do so many things during the day. Now, if you just went vegan and ate anything, do you reckon you could still do this? Because what I eat is very, I eat obviously a lot of fruit throughout the day, and that's exactly what you do as well. And so do you reckon you'd be able to do this by just going vegan or eating anything you want?
I don't think so, because I've had friends who just eat completely vegan, and their situation, they're always still tired. It doesn't, I don't think going vegan completely solves that issue, but it's about what you're actually eating in the day. So I've had times when I did travel, obviously I couldn't get as much fruit as I'd like to, or it was hard to get it in some countries. And I felt those days where I wasn't as energetic, I couldn't do half the things that I would like to do. So I felt the big difference.
I think also to be able to do what you do, you need to train. You need to eat for your specific training and your 10-hour days of work. Then that's why you eat a specific diet, which is high in fruit, no oil, and your starches and other variety of plant foods in the evenings. But the fruit's always going to be there, and that's what we also always tell people, that fruit is going to keep you going longer. It's going to be the best for your digestion, and we'll talk about this a little bit later as well. But how, and just also I don't know if you guys remember Harry, who was Vatche's brother. He also healed during our program. He worked with my brother, and I took on Vatche. And so how was it, being two brothers going through the same thing? How was that?
Yeah, it was pretty cool because, having this, like, the best part of it was having you guys as support, but also having someone at home where, you can rely on as well. Or just, talk to each other, see what he's going through and help each other, and just focus on the end goal is, look, cool, we're just going through detox, our body's just flushing things out. It's, it's part of the process. And once we understood that, it was a lot easier. And especially our family was very supportive of what we're doing. At first, they were just not sure. It's like, there's a big change, going to eating. I used to eat just meat, just crazy. 10 eggs in the morning, get up and just chicken breast and just meat. But I never felt good at all. Yeah. It was just, it was all that things about, you go to the gym, you train, you need protein, and this is all made up. Now I probably don't even I was probably getting 250 grams of protein at one stage. Now probably if I'm getting 40, and I'm less fatigued, I can train harder. I can train better.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not about the protein, is it? It's about all the other things as well. And I mean, protein is so massive in today's world that you actually don't need that much to function and to actually do workouts and things. All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty. So before you came across us, before you even thought about a lifestyle change, what was your life like, and how bad was your colitis? How long did you have it for? And did medications help at all?
Yeah, so with my situation, my brother had colitis a long time before I did, because he's older than me by almost 10 years. So I kind of knew about what he was going through, but I didn't know exactly the nitty-gritty part of it. But I started experiencing some symptoms, so I started going to the toilet more often and wasn't formed, runny, just urgency, and then I started experiencing bad pain. And then as that went on, it started building up a bit of mucus and blood. And at that stage, I wasn't sure. I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on? And I was just a bit of a careless guy. I wouldn't really acknowledge it. I'd just be like, yeah, it's all right. Left it for a few months. Didn't get better. And then my family forced me to go get colonoscopy done. Then I went to get that. And I saw a professor in gastroenterologist, and he said, oh, look, it's, just because your brother has it doesn't mean you have it. It's not common, this. It's 10% chance. And then I got a colonoscopy done and saw that there was nothing. And then I was like, okay, like, I'm telling you I've got something. I thought I had colitis. So I said it to him. He's like, no. I'm like, but can you explain all these symptoms? And they couldn't give me any answers or anything. So I was like, all right. Then I came out. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm relieved. I don't have colitis. But then I'm like, what is this? Like, I'm still going through exactly. Yeah, I went through that. My brother was going through the same thing, and he told me it's probably that because he's had it for years and he went through this exact same thing. And I said, okay. I left it for a bit. It got worse, and my diet was just really bad. So veggies was something I barely eat. Fruit was, I don't think it was even there. It was just more about the gym life and protein and carbs. And carbs was just rice, and wouldn't have any veggies.
Did you get into the whey protein as well, the protein powders and the shakes?
Yeah, I think that's where I kind of stuffed myself up, was when I was 17, 18, being like into the gym, into the fitness and things like that. I used to take a lot of dairy supplements, casein protein, I can't remember the names, but whey protein. I was under every supplement. I used to take everything, and that I started noticing that when I was 17 or 18, my stool started getting runny. And I didn't acknowledge it. I left it for years, and I just eat just crap. I used to work at KFC as well when I was younger, so thinking about it later, I was eating fried chicken all day, every day, just nibbling on it, and I wouldn't take food to work. So my breakfast started at 9 o'clock. I eat chicken till 5 o'clock, and that's where I think it got me bad. And then just throughout the whole day when I get home again, maybe have my mum's food, which was a lot better than what I used to eat out. But at least once a week I'd eat out KFC. And then I kind of noticed that again. The second colonoscopy I went and tried to figure it out more. I'm like, look, it's getting worse. I need to check again. He goes, all right. So he checks, and then he comes back to say I've got colitis. I'm like, a year later or months, I can't remember exactly how long. I'm like, I told you this a year ago. And I thought obviously it'll make a difference telling him earlier, but it doesn't really. At the end of the day, they're going to tell you the same thing. Then he told me, look, cool, this is something you can't change. And I got shocked at that moment. I was like, he goes, this is it for the rest of your life. It's going to be kind of on this medicine. And if you don't take it, you're going to, you get these symptoms even worse. So I was like, they try to, it's kind of more about a scare tactic. And I felt, out of that it was, I needed to stay on the medicine. So I started with the Mesavant, and then just started with 2. Made a bit of difference. It kind of reduced it, and then, but I was still getting the blood in my stool, the mucus, all the same things that most people get. But then what started happening was it started worsening. It didn't help what I was eating. I told him, was there any connection with the food and things like that? He said, no. There's no connection. Doesn't matter. Eat what you want. So I was like, oh, cool. That works out for me. I'll take this medicine and it will help me. And I'll still be able to live my life, go out, drink, eat crap food all the time. And, that's what I thought was enjoying life. And then did that and just kept worsening. But again, I wouldn't acknowledge it. I'll just go with it. Just take the maximum medicine.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right?
Yeah. And I just thought, whatever. I wouldn't talk to anyone about it, or I just said, I'm all right. And then kept doing that. And then I said, look, I've had enough. The medicine didn't help. I was taking all this sort of medicine. The first time I had, and I've only had colitis for about 3 years, if that, 3-4 years maybe. So. I started taking, I can't remember, there was some sort of form of steroids. Tried that kind of helped me. And then I got off it, just got worse straight away.
So
and I looked into it just flared up again. And I started reading into what was in the steroids. And that's where it really shocked me, because the side effects was the worst things I'd ever seen, loss of hair and loss of just so many things that I was like, no, I'm not happy with that. I don't want this for myself. So I kind of got off it. And at the same time, my brother was going through the same thing, and I don't know what happened, but I think before that as well, the part where it got worse is we tried this diet called the specific carbohydrate diet. So basically says don't eat fruit, don't eat carbs or all sorts of carbs, and no veggies and things like that because of fiber and like whatever they tell you. And we saw a naturopath, and we thought, there's a lot of people who done this book. We thought, okay, let's try it. So just got on completely meat, just meat and meat, and I just felt worse. Didn't help my situation at all. I felt like I was getting worse, but again, I didn't do much about it or whatever. Kind of left it, just always bleeding. I'm like, eventually when the blood's gonna come to a stage where it's gonna drop really low, and I just was like, whatever.
And you guys also tried some raw milk as well?
Tried the probiotic, my auntie was really nice to help us, and we thought it was a gut bacteria issue, which it kind of is, but it's not to what we thought. So they were mixing us a bit of dairy, and which made no sense. I never even I stopped dairy years before I even went to this, because I felt the worst when I used to have dairy, but that's milk. But I used to go eat cheese and justify that and say, it's not the same. But then tried that didn't do anything. Gave me more gas, more pain. And there was a stage where it was just a lot of pain on my gut. Like I would go bathroom and I would feel like someone's just stabbing a knife in my stomach, in my bowel. So the pain was probably the worst part. And then as you're in the toilet, you just, you see all that blood. You're like you can't relax. It's just, kind of just stresses you out every time as calm as you try to stay. And then, tried that diet. Tried the carb diet, got the specific carbohydrate diet, got worse just because it was all meat, fat. So it got worse, and then we started looking at other things to do. And I told my brother, this can't be it. And he, we had a bit of disagreements at first. He thought, no, this is it. The doctors have said it, and he's believed it obviously for a lot longer. So he's kind of, as soon as I heard it, but I said, this is not right. This is obviously diet related. I go, it's not a coincidence that my body and my brother's body just both eating the same thing, because we're both into gym, both went through the same thing. So I started looking at, my brother actually started looking, and then he came across you guys, and when he first said it, I was like, what? Like, you've got to cut meat out. And I was like, I couldn't agree. I'm like, look, I'll do it for a bit, but I'm not going to do this forever. Like, I'm not going to go vegan. Like, I can't cut protein out. I love chicken too much, and I was just like the person you would never be able to get off meat, not even reduce it. And because I thought it's going to affect my performance at gym, but even though I wasn't performing, I was always tired. It was just the supplements that kind of kept me going. And then tried with you guys, and obviously it got a lot worse before it got better. Went through the detox and just flushed out everything. I lost those 82 kilos, which I had a good amount of muscle, and then that all went out the door, and I just became like a toothpick and dropped like 25 kilos, which was probably one of the hardest parts, is being a guy who's always fit, to going out on the street, people like wouldn't recognize you, because you've lost that much weight and things like that. So
well, I think also, like, not to scare anyone and say that this might happen to you, or because a lot of people do go through detox, and we've talked about it. Other people have talked about it as well. But when you were going through the detox, you obviously had us there to help you out. And would you reckon you would have been able to do it without our support?
Honestly, probably not. I'm not just saying that. It was just, there's times where even if my brother was doing the same thing, it was just times you just wanted to give up, and you just, oh, what's this? Like, because you kind of go through waves, right? So I went through one wave, and, the blood wouldn't stop for months. I was really worried that, 4 months of bleeding, but really before that I was bleeding for that 2 years, but you don't think about it like that. And then I started seeing all that blood, and obviously you get worried, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to go back on medicine. So I kind of mentally would just fight my own head.
The pain also started getting less though when you changed.
The pain was probably one of the first things that went, that sharp stabbing pain. But the blood kept going for a few months and things like that. But I don't think I could have done it myself, because I always had questions of, okay, what's happening? I'm going through this, and it's always getting that reassurance and from you guys to say, cool, we know what's happening. It's this. And once someone tells you, because obviously when you're in that state, you can't really think clearly. It's just, it's kind of fight or flight. Your body's just going through all this crap, and you think the easiest way out is just go back on the medicine. But long term, it's going to do nothing. Again, you're still going to be going through the symptoms.
That's right. And I think one of the biggest things for you guys, both of you guys, is you understood the literature, you understood the science, and you understood that, okay, these foods are actually trying to heal us. They're not trying to make us worse. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that when they get into this change in diet, or when they eat more fiber, or when they eat more fruits, they suddenly get really worse. And they go, oh, what's happening to my body? But you guys actually understood that, okay, there's a lot of shit coming out of myself. I've put myself, I've damaged my body so much, and decades of damage of eating unhealthy is now getting undone. And I think that was the biggest key for you guys, because you understood that. And once you understood that, you're like, man. And then you saw
this
your
needs
body,
to be done.
yeah, and you saw your body start to improve slowly, and you have those ups, and then you go down again. You have those ups, but you know, the more ups you had, the more confidence you had, and believing in yourself, man, was the biggest thing, I think. Trusting yourself and believing in yourself.
Sure.
I think, you know, if you didn't have that trust within yourself, I don't think anyone could heal. You know, even myself, if I didn't have the trust and the belief that this was going to work, you know,
for sure,
it's not going to work for you if you don't.
For sure. It's I guess it was about knowing, like you said. I knew exactly what my body was doing, and once you understand something, I don't know if your body kind of starts doing it more as well. And, you know, when you understand it, you know why you're doing it or why it's happening. It's just all the crap you've been eating, all the, you know, just toxicity in your body over the last 25 years that I've just loaded up on. It's just got to come out. It's got to come out. I've just, you know, and I knew that. It was just a matter of, you know, sometimes I just wanted to give up, like a lot of times. But if I didn't have you guys there and, you know, not just, I felt, you know, that I was held accountable for what I was doing, and I just wanted to finish it and do it properly and give it a crack before I kind of gave up. But there was times where I was just very close in my head. I'm just like, look, stuff this. Like, it's just, I'll go back to eating, you know, I'll put my size back on. I'll be able to live my life, kind of somewhat live my life, but not really at all. Because my brother was getting a lot worse than I was, because he had it longer, and he went hospital, and he went hospital, and they said, oh, we have to take your colon out, and tried to put him on the immune suppressants, and he said no. He just told him I'm not doing this, and discharged himself. And so I kind of felt that, you know, I needed to do it for him as well.
With him as well, yeah.
With him to get him through it, even though I was like, look, if it doesn't work for me, whatever. I kind of told myself that in the beginning. You know, I can always go back to what I was doing, but I'm glad I did it.
What was really cool was within your guys' journey, both of your journeys, I got to obviously visit you in Sydney in person, and I reckon that was really cool, because you guys were coming out of the detox when I met you in person, and we had dinner together. Obviously, I'll chuck some photos up of what you guys look like as well, and you know, because you know, you were skinny and you weren't who you are now, but that was, I think, really cool to come see you guys, and I guess that would have encouraged you a little bit more as well to keep going and finish the journey. Yeah,
for sure. It was a lot, you know, meeting face to face was just a lot more, you know, motivated. It got me more motivated, and you know, I was kind of not completely healed by then. I was still going through it, because I was at my skinniest, but I think I did get a bit skinny. Like, I lost a lot more weight after that as well. But I kind of just said, look, you know, I need to keep pushing through. And I guess 3 or 4 months later, I think when it was about 6 months into it, 5-6 months, I started noticing the changes. And that was probably the craziest part of saying, wow, you know, from going to the bathroom, and I was logging all of this, was, you know, going to the bathroom 12, 13, 14 times a day, you know, to going 7, 8, which was like, that was still a lot. And then I started looking back on the progress, you know. Then I'd go 5, 6 times, and it'd still be blood, but there'd be less. And the urgency was the first thing to go. You know, the urgency of me needing to always go to the bathroom started cutting back. And it was hard at work. And, you know, obviously I didn't take time off. I just kept working. But maybe that prolonged it and made it a bit longer, the process, than it needed to be. But, it was just hard to take off work. And then...
Right, so you come out of this detox, and you're starting to feel better about what you're doing, and slowly introducing some other foods. You guys also thought about the other kind of things that happen when you change your diet, right? So the environment, and obviously the animals dying and stuff like that. But how did that impact your change in lifestyle as well? I mean, you're kind of, you know, doing this for your health, for your own self, but then there's also the other aspects to it.
Yeah, for sure. So at first, and I had one friend that they were vegan for 5, 6 years, and they'd always tell me, "Oh, go vegan," this, and I just laugh at them and just, "Oh, nah, it's bullshit," or whatever. I wouldn't do it. To At first, it was just for my health. I said, I'm going to do this for my health. Um, I did it for my health, and then I started knowing more about the environment. And I said, look, when people would ask me why I'm doing it, it's always for health. Was it for the environment or for the animals or about having compassion or whatever it is? Just did it for that reason. And then as I started going now, it's changed a lot because I know a lot more about what it's doing, how many animals. If I used to eat 4 chicken breasts a day, so however many chickens that is, 1, 2 a day. If you calculate that, how many chickens haven't died because of me over the last year, it starts making you realize, how much better you're doing for the environment, for the animals, and things like that. And then as I started going, it's it's
the industry is horrible, isn't it? I mean, once you start to find out about where your food comes from, you kind of go, "Wow, this is ridiculous." And even when people go and eat the free range or whatever, or grass fed, and the humanely slaughtered animals, it doesn't make sense. And if you don't need to do it, if you can survive and thrive like what you guys are doing right now, what is there? Is there a need to do that?
That's what I talk to people all like all the time. It's like, we don't need to do it anymore. We've got so many options. There's we used maybe in a place where there was only animals and there was no veggies could grow, there's no fruit. Okay, they haven't, obviously they need to survive. They need meat. But meat was a lot different than it is now as well. But, I guess our bodies aren't just made to take it.
Well, even though we could potentially digest it, but, in the long run, it's going to affect you slowly. That's how powerful the human body is, Just because we can eat it, that doesn't mean it's healthy for us.
I think we can eat a lot of things, but
exactly, that's right.
Our body can just digest it, but no one makes a connection of what's actually happening in their stomach, inside, how they feel to what they're eating. It's
until you get a digestive issue, right? And then you go, "Oh, well, you wake up." Mate, it's so cool to hear your story. And I think, what's the single biggest thing that you would kind of say to people that on the fence about a vegan diet or plant-based diet? And you were probably that person once upon a time where you just didn't care about this, or and so what would you say to those people? And what would be your advice to someone that's watching this video?
If I looked at, for example, if I saw my old self a few years ago, my advice would be just try it. Just try it, see how you feel. You'll see the difference. You'll see how much better you feel. But your body needs to flush out before it gets better as well. So I've had people, go plant-based or go vegan, and they're just, I'm going toilet a lot more. It's just, really understanding that. When you understand it, and you understand, I guess, just educating yourself about where your food comes from. Once you understand that, I think people just don't make that connection or don't want to think about it. But once you understand all of that, then you kind of, you realize and you try it for yourself and you see how much better you feel. Then it's just a no-brainer that you wouldn't go back. It's like, why would you go back? And I tell myself now, like I tell people, I wouldn't go back for any reason. It's people say, oh, do you miss it? I'm like, no. What is there to miss? Like, it's just, I felt shit. I felt crap as soon as I ate it. I got stomach issues, or what am I missing out on? Like, I'm not missing out. I just feel good all the time. I can actually do what I want to do and enjoy myself.
Exactly, man. And that's what we try and say to a lot of people. It's like, try it first and see how you go. And you have nothing to lose by eating plant foods. And I mean, we all think fruits and vegetables are healthy, right? And suddenly, a lot of people are saying, no, it's not healthy anymore. But that doesn't make sense. Yeah.
I think, people are just looking at away. Like, I think just excuses. I would have just looked, people will say, oh, but everything in moderation is okay. And it's the same thing with everything. If something's bad for you, it doesn't matter if it's in moderation or not. It's still not good for you. It doesn't change that fact. So things like that, it's just, people just justify it in their own head because they think it's okay, because people are scared of change. And I think that's it. Everyone's scared of change. People are scared to make changes because of what other people might say or how they may look or things like that. So I would say, don't care.
And so once you're on the other side, how does it feel? Like, it's so easy for you to live your life now, and you've simplified your life so much now as well, mentally as well. Like, I mean, that's something that I guess we didn't talk about. But mentally, how did you feel when you're going through it, and how big of a difference is that, mental game when you're going through it? Because the physical stuff, you've probably experienced before, but mentally just hanging in there, how was that?
Yeah, that was honestly probably the hardest part for me. As what I was talking about before, there was times where I wanted to quit, but it's just
You
just
never
knowing
gave
why
up.
you're doing it. Just keeping, I guess, the goal in mind of what you're trying to achieve, and what that you need to do this. Like if you have any sort of issues, whether it's colitis or anything, you
Yeah,
need to do this. You need to cleanse your body. My friend doesn't even have colitis, and he did it, and he wouldn't go back either.
yeah, of course.
And we both feel good, and we're both on the same page with all of that. So whether you do have, I guess for me, yes, it was because of health. That's how I came across you guys. Even though I did have vegan friends and plant-based food friends, but they weren't, I guess, having fruits and veggies. It was kind of just, they were doing it more for the animals. So what they ate, what they put in their body didn't really concern them. But again, everyone starts their journey in a different way. It's just at the end, it's all the same, I guess, goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the mentals, yeah, like you're saying, it's the mental game of it is probably the hardest part. It's just, knowing what you're doing it for and what you're trying to achieve. So, and
Yeah,
what the outcome will be at the end of the day.
yeah, for sure. And
I
now,
believe the process.
yeah, and now you eat a variety of foods. You enjoy your foods even more than you probably did before. Talk a little
Definitely.
bit about that, and like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, when I'm at work, because I eat fruit all day, the first thing I want to do is just come home and really just get into the veggies. And
yeah,
as weird as that sounds, I was a guy who wouldn't even look at veggies. If my mum put veggies, I'm like, I don't want to look at it.
yeah,
Just give me the protein and the
yeah,
rice. That's all I need for the gym,
yeah,
and the
yeah,
thought I needed anyway. But like, I'm excited to eat. I enjoy it. It tastes a lot better. I don't know if my taste buds have changed, but and like I mix up a bit of foods now. Obviously, I've been healed for a lot longer.
mm,
So I didn't jump into mixing too much foods at start. But now, on the weekend here or there, I'd like to go out and, socially you can go have a pizza and obviously a vegan pizza and things like that, or sorry, some sort of pasta, or, you're still out there to enjoy. But even when I do that, for example, last night I ate some more cooked meals and maybe more processed food and things like that, but I just don't feel as well now.
yeah,
I don't feel as good as I would. So the first thing I do is I just smash my juices and just stick to really basic foods again. And I just feel a lot better that way. I sleep better. I wake up more energized, and my body just doesn't crave. I don't know, people, their body craves all these bad foods. I don't even feel like those.
yeah,
If I
exactly.
eat it once a month, then it's like I'm not going to do that for another however
Exactly.
amount of long time.
Well, I think the ability for you to strengthen your gut and then every now and then eat those foods
Hmm.
is the foundation that you're building and that you've
Yeah,
built. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I think want to try and teach you guys is that you build this core of like your gut microbiome and your gut health and you strengthen your gut. And then
yeah,
yeah, if you want to eat something occasionally, don't think that it's bad for you and have it enjoy it
yeah,
and enjoy it with your friends and socialize and then go back to doing your routine because your routine
yeah,
is
for sure.
always going to make you feel the best. You can't just eat junk food or processed food and expect to be healthy. It's just never going to
Yeah.
happen, and
Yeah, and you
and
can see it as well, like how your stomach feels. You may have excessive gas, and even through the process, I did slip up once where I was just out and just people. I wouldn't usually be out, but I think it was a work party or something like
mm,
that, where people were just eating food, and I wasn't going to eat the meat or anything because I was on my healing diet, but I kind of slipped up and I just had a few like potatoes, but it was just deep fried
mm,
chips and just had a few of that and then next day I kind of look, it's happened. It is what it is, but let's move forward and not just sit there thinking about it and making the situation worse.
yeah,
Just kind of moving forward, or because I think it's just people. We're all human at the end of the day.
yeah,
So
exactly. You can never be perfect, and you shouldn't
yeah,
expect to be perfect
mm,
either. And I think enjoying your life after you get better is the most important thing, and not
yeah,
you've built this into a routine now, man. It's like it's so
yeah.
easy for you to do this. You wake up in the morning, you make a shake, you make your banana
That,
smoothie,
that's it.
just like you would have once upon a time had a protein powder shake. Now
Yeah,
it's just changed what you put inside of it,
yeah,
and
and I just feel good now.
and you
That's
feel
the
amazing.
difference, and
And
it's
that's the
easy.
key. That's the key, man. You feel good, and you want to keep
Yeah,
feeling good. If you want to keep feeling good, you want to eat the foods that are going to keep you feeling good.
yeah,
And that's a whole food
and
plant based diet.
for sure. And I wanted to mention as well when I got my blood test done, you know, when I was going through all of this, my inflammation was through the roof and things like that. And the doctor said, what are you doing? Go see your specialist. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, the only thing they're going to tell me is, there's nothing we can do. Here's some Mesoman. And I said, I think I have a better chance of doing this than just hearing that. And I didn't want to do that. And then if months later, as I'm healing, they started trying to call me, and I just kind of put it, like, I didn't want to meet with them. But I'd get always frequently with you guys, just monitor my blood tests and things like that. So you guys were obviously looking after everything, making sure I was okay, but I just didn't want to go to them to do that. And then as I've got the photos as well, and started seeing the bloods reduce and things get better, my protein levels increase. And it was just, when I first did it, I think it was last year, it was just a lot of things were out of whack, and just really things are really high, really low, and all over the place. But I started seeing, every 2-3 months when I'd get a blood test, the significant changes, until I did one maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, and the doctor was shocked. He goes, "Look, your bloods are very good." He goes, and I was like, "Why?" Like, okay, well, they're good, but why do you say that? And he goes, "Oh, your kidneys are functioning. They're barely doing anything. They're not working as hard." And he could tell by the readings, because, everything was quite low, in a good way, where your body's not excessively working to do this, have the same function. So then I started seeing that, and I was shocked, because the scale was, I can't remember exactly, but it was for inflammation, it was a really high amount, maybe 20 times the limit. And then I went down to almost barely anything, like 20, 30 times less than what I was through that. So it wasn't just me feeling better, it was having all those, seeing the results and things like that, and seeing the big changes.
Man. And it's going to keep continuing to be awesome for you. And I just want to say, thanks so much for sharing your story, because I know that people out there will be able to relate to you. And, I mean, everyone has their own journey, but there's also little bits and pieces of that journey that people can relate to. And I guess, before you went vegan or plant-based, a lot of people can relate. So can I, man. I used to be a big meat eater as well, and I haven't had it for 7 years now. And I would never, ever go back to eating that rubbish that created all these problems for myself, So, I think, I guess the last thing I would say is, do you have any last words for anyone that's out there?
Yeah, well, whoever's thinking about it, just do it. It's going to be the best thing. I guess people can't see, what's going to happen on the other side, but I've been through it. My brother's been through it, and you guys have a lot of people that you've helped. If you're just thinking about it, just get started, give it a crack, give it 100%. Though you can't expect this to work and be half into it, where you're not really listening to what you guys are saying and things like that, because there is a lot of components to it. It's not just your diet. You need to sleep. You need to rest. You need to. Things like that was hard for me. Stopping gym was probably the hardest part, because going gym every day for 7 years to going, if I missed a week, I'd feel crap. So let alone 6 months where you guys told me to take it off, it was hard. But, you know why you're doing it. And obviously it's long term, because this, like the situation you've got is, and the medicine, you may feel okay now, some days you feel okay, but it's not sustainable long term. So, and I probably wouldn't have been able to do it with you guys and the support you guys gave. So honestly, thanks to you and your brother to getting me through that and just putting up with it. And I've put the testimonial off for months, because I've just been so busy actually enjoying my life and being able to live it, that I've just kind of forgot that I even had colitis once. And then it reminds me, it's like, when I completely finished with you guys, I was like, I was so grateful, and I still am. Even my parents, they always say thanks to you guys. Obviously wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys, and it's impacted them. My other brother has got stomach issues. He's gone plant-based, and he feels good, and he keeps us on track more than we keep each other on track. So and my parents eat a lot less meat. If I don't even know if they eat much at all. So it's helping them as well. So.
That's so cool, man. And this is why this is such an awesome journey, because you influence so many other people in your your circle. And I think everyone in the end will feel better when they stop eating these animal products in the end anyway. So you're setting the example for so many other people, and you've gone from like a chronic disease and you've healed it, and it's an amazing journey, and even for me to see you guys go through this and do the same thing that I did, and see you guys flourish, and it's just it brings tears to my eyes to see other people
Mm.
go through the same thing as me. And it's a pleasure to have worked with you. And mate, I can tell you that, you're a really awesome person. Now we've become friends, and if you ever come to New Zealand, if I ever come to Australia,
Oh,
you've got a house to stay at, and
for sure. No, I appreciate it.
how cool.
Likewise.
How cool is it though that we become friends and like
Yeah.
go through
Uh,
this journey together?
Yeah, for sure. And I remember the first time we had that meeting, and it was obviously a shock, obviously going through, didn't know much about like going plant-based actually helping, but I kind of still had a feeling that, a lot of people told me to try it, but again, it wasn't the type of, just eating vegan wasn't going to help this, and that's the thing people need to understand is it's not, there's a specific way to do it, the best, the proven way that a lot of us have healed from. And that's the way it kind of needs to be done. It's not just about eating whatever. Yeah. And, but no, thank you guys for everything. Like I wouldn't be where I am now because of you guys. And it changed my life in a lot of ways, and being able to focus on my job and just have more clarity around that. And, my mental game is a lot stronger because it's hard to go through it's probably one of the hardest things I've had to do up until now. Everything else has been a breeze. Like, everything is good until that point where you have to long-term commitment, where you have to give in to doing this and change your whole life. Like everything's going to change from going out to drinking. It's now you need to stay at home and you need to sleep on a Saturday night. It's hard.
One last question. If you were to do this again, when you were going through the healing journey, if you knew that your outcome was going to be this, would you do it all again?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Regardless of what I had to go through, I'd do this because I've never felt this good. Yeah. And I just feel good, and I know it's the right thing for the animals. Just everything. It's not just my health anymore. That's how we started, but it becomes a lot more than just that. People who want to do, help the environment, things like that. That's, I guess you need to do this.
Yeah. Well, the single biggest, I guess, the easiest thing for the environment is to eat less animals or eat none. And that's if you're an environmentalist, obviously that's what you do, but that's what you need to do. But yeah, man, I think it's been awesome to work with you, and I'm so glad that you've got your life back. Even after 7 months after he worked with us, we're still kept in contact, and we always message every now and then, and it's always good to hear from you, and definitely keep in touch. And if I ever come to Sydney again, and I'll be sure to visit you, and if you ever come down under to New Zealand as well, and you've got a place to stay at as well. So
appreciate it.
Yeah, I'd say take care and enjoy your life, a new life with your brother, man. Because you guys have been through hell, and now that you're out of it, just enjoy it, and it's so cool that you've been able to change your life.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys.